Here we go with the first opening bell today here in Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome everyone to the show. This is your front opening bell. I am boss number 5. Okay, let's and I give that to two of the strongest showing on African exchanges on Wednesday. The Nigerian market went up 1.25%, and the Zimbabwe stock market in Harare are very strong at 5%. For the first time, the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange in Harare is about 3 trillion Zimbabwean dollars in total market cap. The Nigerian market said yesterday with those very strong showing from the banks, industrial goods, and Airtel Africa climbed 12.7%, one of the strongest since year started on the African continent. So let's just move on. The BRVM softened by 0.03, still looking for that breakout to the upside around 220 on the composite index. The EGX continued to sell down this week, 1.7% yesterday. That brought Egypt's year-to-date negative index reading to the doorstep of almost 13%. And then the NEC, that's the Nairobi bourse, up by 0.04%. The GSC fell by just 6 basis points. Okay, that's your Wednesday trading day. Let's get some news into today, which, of course, a whole lot are happening around macroeconomic and corporate news. Kenya's Treasury has awarded 2 billion shillings for nuclear and coal units to help East Africa's largest economy resolve its electricity and power problems. And Kenya's Petroleum Corporation says it's completed the takeover of the petroleum refineries, while Nation Media Group reporting a hefty 12% revenue growth for last year, 7.6 billion shillings, net profit better by 10.3 to 493 million shillings. Nation Media, if you remember very well, did a major overhauling in 2020 on the back of the outbreak of the pandemic, in which folks were now beginning to go online, digital format for its newspapers, radio, television. Everything became the thing. So the bit of also a share buyback program, which Nation Media, restructuring of its shares, which were done. Now we're seeing the result of the last 2 years of restructuring, retooling of this media empire headquartered in Nairobi, coming with very positive results. And that's why the earnings that we see from Nation Media Group. ABSA in Uganda reporting a profit that more than doubled to about 110 billion shillings, Uganda shillings for 2021, while Tanzania Breweries also reported profit up nearly 70% last year, 149 Tanzanian shillings. Looks like everybody's just drinking during and after the pandemic, in a manner of speaking. Okay, so after those restrictions, but let's just move on to West Africa. And we're bringing to the fore quite a number of issues from the World Bank, IMF spring meetings currently ongoing in Washington. Today is the fourth day. We had about 3 days left until Sunday. The World Bank and the IMF are warning of a global debt rising and the tools that central banks and economies can use to fight it are now disappearing, very scarce. That's according to the head of the IMF. In the meantime, the central banks have been asked to look at the threat of inflation and to economic growth. That is one of the main conversations on Wednesday. The spring meetings. Today, there'll be a whole lot more focus on energy transition and resilience through renewable energy and all that form of energy, making climate change and all that. It's going to be a major focus today. And FBN Quest, which is a member of FBN Holdings in Nigeria, says it's sold its stake in Main One, which is a technology infrastructure company to Equinox Incorporated. A Nigerian Exchange Limited has approved Flamil's purchase of 76.7% stake in Honeywell Flour, trying to resolve Honeywell Flour indebtedness to FBN Holdings or First Bank, which is the largest commercial bank and the oldest in Nigeria. The rubber maker listed on the BRVM, that's SAPH, says it's reported 20.75 billion CFE from profit for in 2021. While IMF has got Ghana's economic growth forecast for this year to 5.2%. Nigeria's forecast was upgraded by the IMF to about 3.4% for the current year. Okay, let's switch gear to Southern Africa. With the pandemic on one hand, the flooding on the other hand, now South Africa, inflation now rises to nearly 6% in the month of March. That plays very well into the talk at the IMF World Bank spring meetings about inflation threat to many economies around the world. Toyota has confirmed that there's an extensive flooding at its plant in Durban around the KwaZulu-Natal province in South Africa, which happened over the last few days. De Beers says his 35-year diamond license contract has been signed with Angola, Africa's second largest oil producer. And Barclays Bank is looking to sell $750 million worth of its stake in ABSA. That runs into several billions of South African rand. And Twin Hills gold project in Namibia has now entered advanced stages. Congratulations. And Zambia is beginning avocados export after approval by the EU. The central bank governor of the governor of the central bank in Zambia will be speaking today. It's a governor's talk at the World Bank IMF. That's going to be later in the day. Keep that in mind. We'll get you some of that news into the Frontier opening bell. And finally, summing it up, for us on the African continent, we'll start today. The IMF raised Egypt's growth forecast of 5.9%, roughly 6% for this year, while the Export Development Bank of Egypt says its rights issue was bought at about 78.3%. That was the percentage purchase of those rights which were issued to existing shareholders of the development bank. The Europa Oil and Gas says it's found 1 billion barrels of oil offshore Morocco. And Libya's Minister of Economy has banned import and export of 12 new items. Egypt is looking to policies, rights, and actions left, right, and center to mitigate the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the latest threats to its economy and economic food sustainability, which is the Russian war in Ukraine. Egypt is Africa's largest wheat importer from Moscow. In Tunisia, FX reserves climbed 2.75 billion dinars to 24.27 billion local currency. That's the latest report from the central bank in Tunis. You've been briefed. That's your Frontier Opening Bell this Thursday. Remember, this is how your trading day goes. So go online and watch this show again at Frontier Africa Reports on our YouTube, as well as our website, frontierafricareports.com. We're covering a whole lot for you this week. Then, of course, you can follow us on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, as well as Facebook. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.